Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for the month of April 2022 for the collective, as well as the forecasts for each individual life path number. Before we get into the forecast, I want to mention that this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. So April is a 10-1 month. So ultimately a 1 month. We're going to be looking a lot at the energies of the 10 because that is significant, but we will break it down with a 1 as well. So we're officially in Aries season. April is considered, of course, Aries season. It's the beginning of the astrological new year. And in numerology, this year, April is a universal cycle of 1. So this is a tremendous amount of fire energy, of initiation, getting started on something, taking a big risk, saying yes to inspired action, and allowing yourself to be bold in your choices and how you move forward. This is the month to take those big ideas from March and begin to take action. Last month was sort of the incubation period, a time for creating space, exploration, and planning. This month is all about getting the green light and taking off like never before. The vision, the spark that was ignited and came in for us last month is now ready to grow and will require our focus and dedication. So there may be several things ready to take off for you this month, and you may need to prioritize your time and your energy to determine which ones hold the most value for you in getting you to wherever it is you're trying to go. So be mindful of the kindling you're using, body, mind, and spirit, to fuel the fire of this new endeavor or endeavors. So right out of the gate in April, we have this Aries new moon occurring on April 1st. So again, we start the month off with an explosive amount of energy and fire. And this one energy will be amplified. Pay attention to the emotions that surface for you really all month because we end the month with an eclipse. So there will be a tremendous amount of energy to work with, to harness, and to channel into something powerfully positive and productive. So be very intentional with how you choose to participate and how you choose to work with all of this fire. It'll be very easy to fall into either extreme of this energy this month. So be sure to listen to my moon videos covering the numerology and energy forecast for the new and the full moons for really the most comprehensive understanding of what we are working with this month when we're talking about the illumination of those moon cycles, as well as for the eclipse at the end of the month. I highly recommend listening to that again for sort of the biggest picture of this energy that we're working with, especially for April. This is a big, big month. So the month of April holds the energy of 10-1. This is an incredibly beautiful energy for bringing people together. The 10, coupled with the energy of the 1, really signifies this idea of bringing peace or contributing towards peace through the individual presence. So to understand that, when we speak of oneness, we refer to the energy of oneness, the divinity within all, of life, all beings. So again, it's an energetic focus. Oneness does not negate your own individual identity, thoughts, experiences, beliefs, individual truths, or individual autonomy. However, it is the understanding that this energetic oneness creates the opportunity for individual action to eventually have a greater impact on the whole, the collective. We are all made up of energy, and when our individual vessel moves or manipulates that energy in some way, it eventually creates a ripple effect. Therefore, our individual choices help to establish peace and fellowship through, again, our individual presence. and our individual choices. They contribute towards seeing the same energy and presence play out within the greater collective. So the point being, be very aware of, especially this month in April, of how you choose to contribute. The influence of this 10 energy also brings with it the potentiality for luck, success, honor, and material rewards. You could have opportunities to share your wisdom from past experiences in a way that can carry wide and pronounced benefits. This is a time to put yourself out there in ways that may feel very, very uncomfortable, but that also feel aligned. So be bold. Share your wisdom in ways that feel good for you, even if it's outside of your comfort zone, especially if it's outside of your comfort zone. That which you initiate under this energy throughout April is bound to be successful. This 10 energy brings with it a sort of a turning of the tide. That which you have been working towards can now come in. You may see a series of events bring great success and the potential for material accomplishment. This is the start of a new cycle, and you get to decide what direction you'll move this energy towards. Remember that the innovative ideas and the fresh beginnings, including events that appear to be merely coincidental, are all results from efforts you have already expended. You have always been the magician of your own story. So April is an incredibly powerful month, kicked off by a dynamic new moon and closed out with a monumental eclipse. Everything in between has the potential to pack just as much punch. So take inspired action this month, stand up and stand out, even if you have to stand alone initially, and be bold about going after what you truly desire, and this energy will work with you in ways you can't even begin to imagine. Remember that you hold the power when it comes to creating the life of your dreams. It may be very uncomfortable at times, but don't give that power away. Recognize where you hold the power, as well as recognizing and acknowledging where your natural limitations are so that you can also ask for help where you need it. And then accept that assistance graciously, without shame. There is power in recognizing when we need to ask for help and in doing so. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast for the individual life path numbers for April 2022. Life path 22 4s. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all for April, and it didn't really match the energy that I was looking at for April for you all, so I pulled another one. And so you basically have two animal spirit messages for this month, and it actually reflected the same kind of message as the first animal spirit message. So I think there's going to be definitely some things you need to work through, some healing, some maybe bittersweet energies this month for you all. But there's also some very positive energies coming through for April for you all. So let's go ahead and get into it and I'll explain. Okay, so the first animal spirit card that I pulled for you all was Wasp Spirit. And the message was, sometimes life stings. And so usually when Wasp comes up, it's just a reminder that sometimes when things don't turn out the way that we expect them to, or the way that we want them to, that can be very frustrating. We can feel very frustrated at the universe for not letting us have control over the circumstances. And typically what I would say in those particular circumstances, and as a 4, I struggle with this as well, releasing control and surrender and all of that, but is check your expectations. Like, check your expectations at the door. Because what I typically find is, as a 4 especially, when I have set expectations about, for somebody or about something, typically that's when I'm going to see the greatest challenges. That's when life is going to sting, because it's very rare that people will be able to live up to those expectations, or that an experience will be able to exactly match that expectation that I've put forth. And the expectation is a form of trying to control the situation. And so My mantra this year especially has been check your expectations at the door, Kim. And so I invite you to explore something similar if that works for you. And again, it's just an opportunity to kind of take a step back and look at and see what is the reality, what are my expectations about this, and how can I release those expectations so that I can surrender to whatever the universe wants to bring me, because I've done my part. Now I'm letting the unseen do its part. And it's not easy, but I think when wasp spirit comes in, it's really that message of check your expectations, because anytime there are very rigid expectations, you're going to get stung. The other animal spirit card that I pulled for you all is rattlesnake. And what's interesting is typically when the snake shows up, it's a time for healing. It's a time for like regeneration. It's a time for transformation. And so there is definitely something here for you 22s about that, like about, again, checking your expectations. And, it's very normal for 22s, especially at a master level energy, to have that sort of like innate need for control. And when you don't have the control over the situation, to have anxiety over that, because it's such a big energy. 22 energy is such a big energy. And so I think there's definitely something here to, again, take a step back and just see where is it, like what's causing your anxiety? What is the reasoning for that? What, where are your expectations? Are they realistic? And they don't even have to be, when we are creating something, we can have these big, idyllic, sort of out of the box expectations or wishes for what we want to see happen. But intention, wishes are different than sort of expectations. It's like the expectation is like you are trying to have some level of control over that. Same thing with intention to some degree, but there's nothing wrong with dreaming big, but it's when you try to control the situation that it will eventually backfire in some way and you will get stung. And so I think that there's a call here to kind of just keep that in check this month. And then also with rattlesnake spirit coming in, I do think that there's something here for healing and for moving through and to overcome on a deeper level. So however that sort of comes in for you. And the actual message on the rattlesnake card that I pulled says the experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your purpose. So just know that any of those big challenges, any of those things that you're trying to overcome, any of those deeper healing moments and experiences are just helping you to continue to step into your purpose in a bigger, broader way. So, okay, now when I look at the energy for the month ahead for you all, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's very like almost jovial. So that's where I'm saying it's kind of like it didn't really make sense when those energies came in. However, it's also very like inspired action kind of energy for the month ahead. So I think it makes sense that especially like wasp energy would be coming in to be like, make those big plans, take those big initiations, dream big, but check your expectations at the door and be open to whatever the universe wants to send you, like whatever is meant to come in for you. Okay, so beginning of the month, I see this, and this is also, there's the new moon, which is like new beginnings, new inspirations, happening in Aries, which is also a one energy this month. We're in that one universal cycle. So I'm seeing for you all like a clean slate, like starting something fresh, starting something new, a fresh new beginning around something, which matches the energy of this month beautifully. So for you all, there's an opportunity here to take the initiative on something, to take inspired action towards something that is new for you, that's outside the box, that feels fresh, that feels new, that feels where you feel sort of like uninhibited. Now, alongside of that, there's going to be this feeling of like not having complete control. And so you have to work with that and understand that you're not meant to have full control. This is going to be a time or a period for you at the beginning of the month where you're really meant to be uninhibited, where you're meant to let things get a little bit messy, where you're allowed to let your hair down and unclench your jaw and play and explore and create. The creation process is always messy. It's always like meant to be, not rigid. And so sometimes that can be very challenging for 22s because, again, there's kind of like this unseen pressure on the master level energies. And so for you all, it might be very difficult for you to sort of play, for you to let your hair down, for you to release the grip and to just play and create. And I feel like you're really going to be called to do that. And I feel like where you don't allow yourself to do that is where you might see yourself get stung, right? So you're kind of restricting yourself in a way. So try to allow yourself to take those big risks at the beginning of the month, to do the big, bold things that you want to do and to dream big and to follow those dreams wherever they take you without trying to control every little outcome. So big, expansive energy at the beginning of the month for you all. Then mid-month, there's something here, again, that feels very restrictive. So it's kind of like we move from this big, expansive energy of like play and like exploration and releasing the grip and all those things into this very restrictive energy. It's kind of like all of a sudden things just kind of like get sucked into themselves. And it feels very, again, like being restrained or constricted. But what's interesting about this is it's almost like it's self-imposed. And I feel like you guys had this kind of similar energy recently in a recent reading. It may have even been the last reading where it's we talked about, again, like those self-imposed restrictions, which is not uncommon for 22s to do that to themselves because, again, there's just like this unseen pressure that there's something big I'm supposed to accomplish. There's something big I'm supposed to do. You guys are the master builders. And so you just constantly always have that feeling of that pressure, even if it's sort of self-created. So I feel like sometimes that can be overwhelming and it sort of all just sort of collapses in on itself. And so instead of moving forward and creating and being that master builder, you just withdraw and don't do anything, which is totally normal for a 22, especially earlier in life as they move through those challenges and all that of the 22. But there is this energy here and it feels emotional. It feels like there could be some emotional tie to this. Like there's a fear. Maybe something happened in the past. You have an opportunity to do something now, but you're having an emotional sort of relapse as far as like you're thinking about what happened in the past, how something didn't work out in the past. And now you have fear or anxiety around the same thing sort of playing out. And so you're restricting yourself in some way and you're not pursuing whatever this is because of fear of failure or fear of the same sort of thing playing out. And of course, I can't say whether or not it will play out that way or not, but typically if you overcame whatever that was in the past, it's not necessarily going to play out the same way. It may have different lessons associated with it now, or you may have extracted the wisdom that you needed from that experience, and now you're ready to elevate to the next octave. So I would say face those fears, deconstruct those fears, and look at the reality of the situation as opposed to the emotive side of things, right? Like, don't let your emotions run wild here around whatever this is. So fear, anxiety, depression, whatever it is that's sort of holding you back from really stepping into whatever this is and doing whatever it is that you're trying to do. Don't let the emotions take control of the situation. This is going to be a time where you really need to heal whatever that is. And then we come back to rattlesnake spirit here, but really heal whatever that is that's hindering you, or try to, right? Like start that process. At least become aware of what it is through those trigger points. And then start working at deconstructing those fears and that anxiety so that you can move forward. Because there's definitely something here about your emotions taking over and you restricting yourself because of some like conceived fear or an experience that maybe you had in the past, like I said, and you like recreating that in your mind, thinking that it's going to play out the same way. So again, I would say mid-month, there's something definitely coming in here around healing and healing that past experience. It happened for a reason, but that doesn't mean that it's going to replay again. if you can deconstruct it and work through the why, right? And understand that it will play out differently now because the circumstances are different now. Okay, and then end of the month, we have I believe it's a solar eclipse. And for you all, it's just this very like beautiful, jovial energy. This is what I'm talking about here. There's cause for celebration. This is looks like it's going to be a very social time for you all, a possibility of networking, collaboration, working with other people, getting together and just, again, letting your hair down. I believe that the eclipse is happening in Taurus at the end of the month, which is all about like the finer things in life and security and home and all of those nice lavish things. And so it looks like you all are going to have an opportunity to sort of relish in that and enjoy that, enjoy your loved ones, however it comes in for you. But the end of the month for you all is kind of just a time for letting your hair down, kicking up your heels, taking a break, letting the stress kind of fall away and pushing the pause button for a minute while you celebrate you or your accomplishments or the accomplishments of loved ones or whatever the case may be. But there's definitely something here at the end of the month worth celebrating. So definitely take advantage of that. And of course, this is a general reading, so it won't be for everybody, but it's definitely a very strong energy coming in. And this month is definitely a great month. Again, we have that new moon at the beginning of the month in Aries, which is all about self, and then it's also a one energy, also about self. And so there is this healing component for you all, and taking a closer look at sort of like how you're showing up to the energy and participating in it, and how you can mitigate that where it needs to be. But there's also this energy of like celebrating self and celebrating your accomplishments and all of those things as well, and taking those big risks if you want to. So really powerful energy for you all this month. But also, like I said, try to, wherever you can, try to keep it light. Try to, again, let your hair down, just unclench the jaw and try to relax while taking that inspired action, and just allow yourself to enjoy the process. That's something with 22s that I think you might struggle with sometimes, is sort of where the direction you want to move into, and then you feel the pressure of doing that, but sometimes that takes over and you don't allow yourself to truly enjoy the journey, the process, the here and now that's getting you to the end goal. And so I think this month is going to help you to kind of do that, and learn to do that in the future as well. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you all so much for listening. Take care, 22s. Bye for now.